All right, everyone. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bring our second guest, Soumen Mukherjee. He's one of the Snyks ambassador as well. Let's hear from him more. All right. Hi, Soumen. How are you?
Yeah, hello Vandana. Hello everyone. Very good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine, absolutely perfect. Nice sunny day, nice weather. Spring is on, and what more can you ask for? So yeah. So yes,
Yeah,
I'm very doing very good.
great. So tell us about yourself. Like, we want to know your journey into the
Yes,
cybersecurity field and how did you get started and where are you
yes,
working today?
yes. I think this is a very interesting story. Yes, so I work as a security architect with a company called Barco. Uh, we're very close to New Delhi. And Yeah, so as a security architect, my focus is application security, product security. And so day in and day out, I'm talking security, I'm breathing security, I'm working with developers, I'm working with product owners, I'm working with product managers and customers to understand the security challenges, the cyber security challenges, and transforming all the knowledge and all these inputs into really actionable items for various teams to focus on the product security, improve the product security posture of the product, of the value that we are providing to our customers. So that's like a snapshot of what I generally do. But if you talk about my challenge, journey in the security domain, yes, so I've been kind of working in this software industry for last 18 years. Of them, I would say 12 and a half years were spent with Thales, focusing on product security technologies. Then I said, okay, let's do something outside security. So I went into a company where I was focusing on casino management systems. So, that took me to Vegas a couple of times, looked at how the systems work on casinos. But obviously security was my strong area, I would say my passion. So I came back into this domain and started focusing on more on application security and things. And so that's what I kind of do for, as a, even my hobby is more about writing about security and exploring new things, new technologies, new tools, and how we can basically. I think the even the topic for today's session is very apt to and very close to my heart, is how we can be more focused towards security in our application development. That should be the first thing that should come to our mind when we are talking about a product or a feature or a functionality or an enhancement, anything. The first thing that should be in on the top of the list, which should be security always. So yeah, so that's like my journey so far, and the kind of work that I do. And the work has taken me to various places. I've been able to meet a lot of people in the security industry, many stalwarts, I would say. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to learn from a lot from them. And that is what I'm now trying to do, is to you know pass on as much as of my experience to the people in the community, to the people in where I work, or even outside. Occasionally go to colleges to talk about security, to speak, meet the students and tell them, okay, this is something that you should focus on. So yeah, I think it's very, and Snyk is, I think, absolutely doing the same thing. And this is a very good forum today. I'm really enjoying myself. Um, and yeah, it's absolutely fantastic atmosphere, fantastic setup, really great.
Thank, thank you. And we also want to know about your journey to be an ambassador.
Oh yes. So first of all, I think it is important to know uh Snyk, like why Snyk? Why, you know, because I really am, uh I would say, when I moved as a full-time security architect, so I was asked to, that okay, you give a talk into the team that I work with. So there are around 200 plus engineers that are working in the R&D center of Barco, and very good people, very experienced people, working on different cutting edge technologies. And I said, okay, let's try to find out something interesting. And the first thing that I came across was the serverless security cheat sheet from Snyk. So I said, wonderful, this is, I think, the best thing to pick, best thing to start. And that is how I got connected with Snyk. I used that cheat sheet. I went through it. I found it amazing, and I really got on to hooked to Snyk. As a tool, as a platform, as a uh, service, which, in my opinion, I think that is really amazing. And that's what I always tell to everybody that I talk to, that uh, functionality, yes, you will be able to deliver your code quality, you will be able to deliver user experience, you will be able to deliver. But I think very important is the security part. When you look at your code, when you look at your design, when you look at the deliverable, you have to take it through various checks for security. And I think Snyk as a platform is providing one single tool that allows you to cover the entire 360-degree spectrum of application security. So, that kind of hooked me to Snyk. I've seen Snyk, adding features. Initially, it was focusing more on open source security, container security. Then they added infrastructure as code. Then we had the Snyk code. Then we had the IDE plugin. Now you have so many integrations. I think it kind of provides you the right hub, which kind of then branches out to your various ecosystem tools, uh, and you evaluate all your application security stages. I think I was listening to what Gopal was saying. I think all the stages that you take your application through, right from the coding, you're doing code reviews, doing securities testing, static application security testing, dynamic testing, vulnerability evaluation for third party dependencies, open source dependencies, license evaluation. I think, you name it, and you have all those things on the Snyk. So I think that really made me very interested in Snyk as a tool. And so yeah, and I think this opportunity to be able to talk to the community, to talk to people, young people, like all the young people in India, like they are so enthusiastic about technology, about security. I think that's a great opportunity. And so, so that is, I think, my motivation to be a Snyk ambassador. And being able to promote application security, I think it's not only adding value to the individuals that I'm talking to, it is adding value to myself, and it is also adding value to the industry as a whole, right? Because the companies that we are working with, or Snyk is supporting, or even the people who are using Snyk are working with. So eventually, the value addition is happening through the entire chain. It's not like there's just value addition at one point. It is everybody is getting a benefit out of this whole exercise. So I think that is very,
Yeah.
very important in today's time, that how you add value to your customers. And security is a very important parameter for various reasons. Obviously, we have now state actors who are actually trying to exploit things. You have already, the bad guys who are waiting for you to commit a mistake. And obviously you have the internal threats of within the organization who are also you know, that because the availability of tools and exploits makes it very easy for even a semi-technical person to actually go out and, cause some damage to any system or any organization. So I think very important to for people to be more security centric, and to have that security first approach is, I think, which is very important, that right from the point where you actually start designing, you basically say that, okay, what is my baseline, what is my security baseline? So you define your baseline, you agree on your baseline, and you then start building on top of it. So things like OWASP, application security verification standards, they are, I think, one of the very good starting points for security baselining. And then as you start building your design, you do things like, okay, let's do threat modeling, let's try to see what are my threats, let us be more proactive. And uh, then once you have the design in place, once you have the baselines in place, you actually start the development, and that is where Snyk can help you. And I think things like the IDE plugin, there are the plugin which is provided by Snyk. I think it is one of the greatest tool, or I would say uh, that every developer should have in his toolkit. It kind of provides you a single view of everything. It checks your code, it gives you code quality, it gives you security issues from your code. It tells you about the packages, the vulnerable packages that might be you might be using in your system. So it kind of gives you the entire, all that information that you need to, you know solve those problems and deliver something upstream which is secure. So I think that is very important. We all people talk about sec DevOps, integration of security tooling in the DevOps pipeline, in um uh, getting things like Snyk or other tools as part of your build process. But yes, you can actually even shift left before that. You use the plugin, you empower your developers with the tools that allows them to nip the problem in the bud, right? So the tools are there. Yes, you have to have those set of controls upstream, but you have to start from the very beginning. I think that is where the security first approach focuses on that. Keep shifting left, keep moving your focus, security focus, to the left, because that is the most economical way for you to fix the issues. Because the more later, if you find those issues, and if you try to address an issues at a later stage, obviously they are more expensive. You have to repeat the cycle, you have to do the testing once again. Then there are a lot of problems. There are other dependencies, then whole set of problems are there. So the the more left you shift with your security, I think that is the best thing to do. And Snyk as a platform is actually designed for the shift left strategy. And I think the world as a whole can make a lot of good use of it, if so. I think that is what the whole, I would say, the motivation is today.
Right, absolutely. And what are your insights around software composition and analysis, and finding and fixing the vulnerabilities in the code itself?
Yes,
Because
yes,
that's something I was discussing with Gopal as well, and he was
yeah,
sharing some of the insights. But
yes,
the world is going bigger, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we feel that better when it comes to vulnerabilities. But then at the same time, there are more and more vulnerabilities which are coming up. So
Right,
everyone
right,
is like, what to do, how to do. Especially
yeah,
when Log4j hit us, we were like going crazy. Oh, are we vulnerable? Are we not
Yeah.
vulnerable? What to do and what not
Yes.
to do? So how should we handle
Yes.
these bugs?
Yes, yes. So I think even before Log4j, before that, we had the supply chain attacks are like, really uh, taking things to the next level. We had the solar wind issue late last year, and I think that kind of started the shift towards software composition analysis and addressing the supply chain problems. And Log4j really kind of, I would say, made the world sit up and take notice of this problem, because previously people were not really taking this as a problem. For people it was more like, okay, you have a software, you do a security scan, you give it to pen test, and you are done. That was the more traditional approach. But now with the log4j problem, I think people have realized that it is not about the pen test. It is not about, all the nice security features that you have built on the perimeter, but what is inside your system, what is inside your dependencies, what is the transitive dependency that your library is using. You don't know, so you have to analyze the composition of the software, and that is where things like the software bills of materials comes in the picture. And I would say Snyk has been ahead times, and they have thought about this way before. And you can actually see your dependencies. You can see the dependency tree right in your console on the dashboard. And I think that gives you that visibility, or gives you that insight into your software, that okay, if you are doing software composition analysis, so as a security architect, my expectation is I should be able to drill down to the last possible package or the library which is used in my solution, and I can do that using Snyk. I think Snyk provides you a variety of ways in which you can do your software composition analysis. You have the Snyk CLI, you have the Snyk Artifactory integrations, where you can actually hook into your Docker images, and it provides you all the details, your library, its version, its current set of vulnerabilities, whether you can fix it or not, whether the exploits are available. It kind of scores them with uh, uh, with all these heuristics in place, and that allows you to take a very well informed decision of what is the next step that you should do. And if I can share a small story here, that when log4j kind of, it, I would say, hit the world, nobody was untouched, right? Even customers who never thought about security, they came back to us and said, okay, is this product vulnerable to the log4j issues? And you know and I think for tools like Snyk, it was very easy to identify, isolate the exact area where which was impacted. And I think Snyk did a wonderful job even for the community. They provided log for shell, which was like specifically designed and delivered to identify log4j issues. And uh, that helped people a lot, I would say. And I myself know quite a few instances where Snyk was very proactively used, and uh, to identify the log4j is present and pinpoint the problem, and also used to be sure that a particular component is not impacted by log4j. So it is both positive as well as for negative identification, that yes, either it is impacted or it is not impacted. So there is no middle path here. It has to be either one or zero. And I think Snyk was able to address both the cases in a very crystal clear manner. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that people have now realized the importance of software composition analysis. It has to be an important part of your build system. It has to be an effective control that you need to build into your build pipeline. And uh, the story does not end there. So even when you have delivered your software, you have delivered it to the customer, it is running maybe in the cloud or in the customer premise, the story does not end there. You have to continuously monitor the composition, the package that you have delivered, because vulnerabilities keep coming. They will come 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line. And then you have to proactively, you have to have that ability to proactively know that, okay, this package is affected, I need to fix it, right? And for that, you have to have tools, you have to have the technology that allows you to scan and monitor things. So I guess Snyk, I think, addresses all these use cases. And as a community as a whole, or the industry as a whole, can definitely add a lot of value to the deliverables by using such technology.
I absolutely agree with you. And even while we talk about open source helps us big time, but it is important to concentrate on fixing and finding the bugs early
Yes.
on. Because we have seen a lot of organizations where they got breached because they did not realize that it is important to track down the open source
Yes.
components.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, so actually in my assessment, 80% of all the problems that are exist in the products are because of third party vulnerabilities. So it is not like I'm always writing the bad code, or but somebody might have missed something in his package and in his library which is impacting me, right? Typical scenarios could be, denial of service of situation, or escalation of privilege, or information disclosure, which might happen by because of the use of such vulnerable packages, third party packages or open source packages in my source code. And very important, because many times, uh, and typically now what we have seen is that the open source packages also get hijacked. Somebody basically does takes over the open source package, and as you build your new release, it kind of gets pulled in and your product gets affected. But how would you know that something of that sort has happened? And that is where I think Snyk's vulnerability database, or the vulnerability intelligence, can help you, because it kind of makes sure that any such things which are reported, they are reflected in their reports at the earliest. The next immediate scan that might happen will kind of trigger that flag that, okay, this package has a vulnerability, or this is compromised. And like there was this case with the UA parser. So UA parser was compromised for some hours, and during that time, whosoever was doing a build, it was downloading the updated package, and it was installing crypto miners on the system. So you know I think that is something which is very important for everybody to understand, that open source packages, though they help you speed up the development, but you have to be equally vigilant about how or what you are using in your software, because at the end of the day, uh, I am delivering a software to the customer, so it is my responsibility to be sure of what I'm delivering. So I think that is very important. And I think you brought up a very valid point here, that the open source world is really important. And for the future of open source world, I think being able to deliver secure open source components, I think, is equally important.
Yes, can't agree with you more. And let me go ahead and bring my good friend, developer Steve, into the live stream. Oh, he's in. Hi,
He's
Steve.
in the Snyk bus. Hi, Steve.
Hello, I am.
um,
How are you all? That was amazing. Thank you for sharing that too.
yeah. Yeah, so I've been. I think it's a great day today. I think this is something that will go down in the history. Of 25th of February, the Big Fix Day. Probably, I foresee that some point of time the world will celebrate this as the Big Fix Day.
We certainly hope so. We've seen so
Yeah,
many fixes already in place
yeah,
already. So no, thank you for coming on and thank you for sharing the insights and just helping folks sort of keep code and keep projects secure.
yeah.
So
Yes,
important.
I think very important for everybody to, and I think, uh, see, there are many resources which are available. But I think being able to address all the problems by a single tool, I think that is what is the greatest thing about Snyk in particular, because you don't really have to learn different technologies, you don't have to really manage different systems or different solutions. It is more about, you have one system which does everything for you. I think that is what is great about this platform. And the concept, yes, application security, security first, I think they are part of the DNA of this solution. Like Snyk is I believe they are the foundation blocks of Snyk. So I think that everybody should make the best use of the tools and the resources which are provided, and I think it's a great opportunity for everybody to learn as well. So it's a
See,
continuous learning, everybody is learning. Yeah.
this is why I came in with Patch and in the sneak pass because I know Patch wants to thank you also for all the work you do to help keep folks secure, help keep us code secure, and well, Patch is giving away T-shirts. They're in the back of the bus, so everyone should get onto the big fix. Totally should.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
indeed, indeed. And
absolutely. Everyone,
really, yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
please, Vandana. No, no, I
No,
was
no, go
saying
ahead.
that I also heard that the Bongo has also announced that they will also give a T-shirt if you fix issues in the Mongo DB packages. So that,
Yep.
I think it's a great opportunity for people not only to get a free T-shirt but also to uh, have their contribution in this community, make a contribution in this community. I think that's a great
That's
opportunity.
two T-shirts for the price of one commit. I mean, it's
Yeah.
so easy.
Right.
Indeed, indeed, indeed.
So, yeah,
Great.
thank you so much, Soumen, for joining me today. It was
Yeah.
wonderful to have you. And thanks, Steve, for
Thank you.
pulling him in. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you, Vandana. Thank you, Steve. I will be part of this day for the next other sessions also. I'll watch. I'll comment on the chat, and great. I think it's going to be a great day ahead. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All the
Take
best.
care.
Thank you.
Goodbye.